to rescue meaning from the pyre of ruin that history is when you look back over it. All those pogroms, all those burning villages, those migrations, wars, and epidemics, those are our people back there. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here. The human enterprise does not exist to gutter out like a river flowing into a desert. We have to be smart. Obviously, there is a great crisis. Obviously, no one can speak in terms of anything we can conceive of existing on this planet 400 or 500 years from now. The historical neck is upon us. There is a concept, the concept of forward escape. This is what we need, a forward escape into another dimension. Now, perhaps it's off the planet, perhaps it's into the bones of the planet, perhaps it's into a parallel dimension, perhaps it's forward into time, 1,000,000 years, but we must have, we will create this forward escape. It is the only possibility. It is not something to doubt. It is something to see as written in to the record of events as we behold it, the steady acceleration of novelty, the ever-concressing and densifying of connectedness means that we are riding the forward crest of a kind of informational wave. And what history is a build-up of a kind of pressure. You know, in engineering school they have what they call Q, vibration, as a structure approaches the speed of sound. And right before you rupture the sound barrier, you are at max Q, and the airframe is bucking and threatens to pull itself apart. And then you slide through into the other dimension where it is smooth as glass. And this is what the 20th century is. It is this enormous culmination to a thrust toward another world that began about 15,000 years ago. It's a geological microsecond in which a species that was pawing for roots turns itself into some kind of archangelic, hyperdimensional creature that goes off into the realms of its own imaginings. It is possibly the purpose of the planet. In any case, it is necessary for the planet as much as it is necessary for us. The metaphor that we should hold in our minds as we confront the chaostrophe of the late 20th century is the image of birth. It is bloody. It is messy. It does not look like part of the ordinary run-of-the-mill of how life works, but it is. It is the sine qua non. That means you can't get along without it. If the child and the mother are not parted at a certain moment, toxemia can set in. This threatens the life of the infant. It threatens the life of the mother. This is all part of nature. These microcosmic processes are repeated in the macrocosm of the life of the planet. We are that infinite, and we have come to term. And what awaits us can hardly be imagined any more than a fetus can imagine being Ben Jonson. He looked good, I thought. So I said this was a message of hope. And it is because I believe this process is built in, and that the way we can participate in it is by talking about it, by telling each other about it, by flexing the muscle of language to communicate with each other, to dispel the fear. This is the great weapon of simple people. is plain talk with each other. It's always plain talk that topples governments. Nothing else will do. It's always plain talk that brings on great new ideas. And plain talk is an art. It's an art that we all need to cultivate. It's the personal facet of this projection of a clear self-image. And plain talk empowers the felt presence of immediate experience. In fact, it's one of the best things you can do with immediate experience. It's amazing how the most intelligent of us go through the day basically communicating in grunts and groans. You know, I can be cleaning up my house, and in the course of half an hour, Rome will fall, and I will reinvent the polio vaccine in my mind. And if someone comes to the door and asks me what I've been doing, I say nothing. And I think everyone is like that. What the psychedelics argue, you see, is that we have universes of beauty and wonder and meaning locked up inside of ourselves, which we must find a way to share. And the only way we know is language and art and the transformation of language and art. And this is what we are called to grow closer to one another, to make ourselves part of this unitary entity. It was anticipated in the 16th century by the great alchemists. Then it was called the philosopher's stone. What we are moving toward is a concrescence of ourselves and our technology and our past and our future and our intentions that will allow us to do anything. I remember a very B film I saw many years ago, and the flying saucers were appearing all over the earth. And you didn't see the flying saucers, but you saw people planting rice in paddies in Asia, suddenly looking up at the sky, and their eyes filling with tears, and tears beginning to run down the wrinkled cheeks of these elderly Oriental women. And then it flashed to people in an African village pounding taro, and then looking to the sky, and people in a huge modern city. This is the kind of singularity that I'm talking about, not piloted by friendly visitors from another world or unfriendly visitors from another world, but piloted essentially by the better half of ourselves, called by us from the future to join with us in rescuing the human and planetary enterprise through an act of understanding. Now, I've been accused of mysticism,